Today I'll be going on a solo trip to a lesser travelled but very beautiful corner of Scotland. With hiking, stargazing, incredible wildlife, important Scottish history and endless panoramic views, Dumfries and Galloway is an area which is often bypassed. Join me as I spend the next 24 hours exploring more of Scotland. My adventure today starts here in the town of Newton Stewart in the south of Scotland. This is the gateway to the Galloway Hills. I'm going to be taking you to some of my favourite spots today and also some spots that I've heard great things about but have never visited before. And before I head that direction, I'm going to pick up a few local items from a shop here in the town. These are the Scottish items that I bought inside the local shop. I got some oatcakes. These are Galloway oatcakes, so these are like crackers. Then I got this chutney from a nearby village. It's made near here, poacher's pickle. This is a cheese from the area. It was called Galloway smoked ewe's milk cheese. And then inside the butcher's, they also had some bakery items. So I bought these two traditionally Scottish bakery items to show you. So both of these are made from shortbread, which is a delicious type of cookie made in Scotland. It has a very buttery taste and is quite crumbly. And this one here is called an Empire biscuit. So this is 2 pieces of shortbread, and in the middle is jam, and on the top is icing and a cherry. This one is one of my favourite Scottish sweets. This is called Millionaire shortbread. So on the bottom you have shortbread, then a layer of caramel, and on the top is chocolate. This is so good. If you come to Scotland and you've never tried this before, you need to add this to the top of your must-eat items when you come to Scotland. I don't think this will last until this evening, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to head to the Galloway Hills now. And I heard there is an extremely beautiful road to get there. And this will be the first ever time I'm driving on this road, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the views. It's the start of spring, so things are starting to look a little bit more green now that winter's over. Let's get going. Newton Stewart is a town which is home to around 3,500 people. And is located in Dumfries and Galloway in southern Scotland. There used to be cotton and carpet industries here, but it's better known these days for its salmon and trout fishing on the River Cree. I've been driving along the road for around 10-15 minutes now, and I've been going really slow and just taking in the views of the rolling fields, the trees. It really feels like spring has started. It's so nice. This is my first trip since I've come back from France. I'm just so happy to be back in Scotland and travelling here again. On this road, I've also noticed quite a few places that you can park and then go for some walks, which looked really nice. So I pulled in here while I'm driving along the Wood of Cree, and I noticed here that there's a sign saying otter pool, and I still haven't seen an otter in Scotland. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I was on the lookout for otters as I was travelling to many islands in Scotland last year, but unfortunately the only thing I could come across was a wooden otter statue. So I'm still on the lookout for an otter. It seems that other people do see them. I've just not had any luck yet. So I'm going to head down and have a look. Maybe today will be my lucky day. Just beside the car park, about 30 metres away, is this pool here. So I'm not sure if this is the otter pool or it's perhaps further on down there. This is the spot here to see the otters, and I saw something moving, but it was a duck, it wasn't an otter. The road I am taking meanders alongside the River Cree and into the Galloway Forest Park. This area is called the Wood of Cree, and it's an RSPB nature reserve. It's a beautiful place with the largest area of ancient woodland in southern Scotland. You can see wildlife like owls and otters, and in the springtime you can see carpets of bluebells. There's quite a lot of information here about the otters, and if you're interested to see one, it recommends that you come at either dawn or dusk. That's when you have the highest chance of seeing an otter. And you should look at the water and check for ripples, and then their little head will bob up. If any of you have seen an otter before, you're so lucky, because I have looked and looked for otters and still never managed to see one. I've been here for around 20 minutes and there are no signs of any otters. It's the middle of the day. It's not dawn or dusk. Let's head to the next place. Before I head out and start exploring, I'm going to be putting on some of my Wild deodorant. This video has been possible to film today thanks to Wild, who are one of my favourite brands. Wild make the most amazing smelling deodorants and body washes. I've been using Wild deodorant for around 3 years now, and the reason I started using it is because the ingredients are natural and I wanted to stop spraying harsh chemicals on my body every day. Their deodorants also contain no single-use plastic, so you get this reusable aluminium case. There's lots of different colours available. I have the black one, and then inside you get refillable compostable deodorants. There are lots of different scents available, and my favourite is the fresh cotton and sea salt. You might be wondering, if the ingredients are all natural, will the deodorant be effective? Well, from my years of putting it to the test, yes, it definitely works. It protects you for up to 24 hours. If you'd like to try out Wild deodorant for yourself, you can use the code RUTH2024 and you can get 20% off any Wild product. Wild ship worldwide, and you can click the QR code on the screen or check out the link in the video description. My mum and dad both use Wild deodorant as well, and I'm sure they're going to be the first ones taking advantage of that amazing offer. Now let's get back to exploring. I really like finding interesting places on Google Maps, and I came across a place called the White Cairn Chambered Tomb, and the road has a gate, but I've parked here and it's just a short walk, so I'm going to go and have a look and see what it's like. The Galloway Forest Park is actually the biggest forest park in the whole of the UK, and the area that I went to last time didn't have that many trees, but this area has lots of trees, lots of moss as well. So this is what I'm following. So I'm here just now and I'm trying to get to here, so I'm going to take this turn on the road and head down there. I'm at a junction here, so I think I need to go down this way here. The Galloway Forest Park covers a large area of southern Scotland. There's very little light pollution, and the stargazing here is incredible if you get a clear night. It was designated as one of the first dark sky parks in the world. So it looks like I've arrived. So this tomb is said to be around 5,000 years old. It looks quite similar to some of the tombs I visited last year in Orkney. It's said that this tomb was used for communal burial and ceremonies, and it was excavated in 1949. Let's go in and have a look. Located in the forest near the village of Glentrool, the White Cairn Chambered Tomb is a Neolithic burial site dating back over 5,000 years. It features a circular cairn covering a central chamber, accessed by a passage. Despite some disturbance over time, it remains an important archaeological site, shedding light on ancient burial practices and the lives of Scotland's early inhabitants. Wow, so this is the entrance to the tomb here. I just find it unbelievable that these stones were moved 5,000 years ago. It's just incredible to me. It says on the plaque that when this was excavated, they found old pottery inside as well. Wow, it's such an amazing location. So peaceful, surrounded by trees. Wow. I next headed deeper into the Galloway Forest Park to one of my favourite places. I'm leaving Ernie Boy behind here, and I've now arrived at the starting point for the walk around Loch Trool, which is one of the places I want to show you. This is a 5.5 mile walk, but it is incredible. So just beside the car park is the start of the walk around Loch Truel. This hike around the loch is 3 hours. In Scotland, I often find when I meet other hikers, they say hiya. And a few years ago, I was hiking in Scotland with a friend who's not a native English speaker. And they were like, what does that mean? It's quite a casual way to say hello in Scotland, and you would say it to other hikers when you meet them. So I'm curious what you say in your country if you meet someone when you're out hiking. I don't tend to say hiya very much, I don't think. I usually say hello, but just thought it might be interesting to share. Behind me, the loch has come into view. This is the start of Loch Truel. The most beautiful view has come into sight. This is the view I wanted to show you all. Wow, it is just breathtaking. I mean, look at this. There's no one else here, just me. Loch Truel is a beautiful freshwater loch surrounded by forests and rolling hills. The area is home to diverse wildlife, including red deer and various bird species. I'm thinking actually to put on some Scottish music while I'm walking. I think it would fit very well with the atmosphere of this place. If any of you are looking to listen to Scottish music, the name of my favourite Scottish band, I will write it here. They're called Nightworks, and also I will write the name of my favourite song as well, the one I'm going to listen to just now. They're a band from the Isle of Skye, and they use bagpipes in their music, but it's quite modern. It's like a modern take on bagpipe music. It's like bagpipe electronic. It's quite good. And then they have Scottish Gaelic singers sometimes as well. The song that I'm going to listen to now has Scottish Gaelic in it. If you're interested, definitely check out their music. It's really, really good. This place also has a very significant history. So let me show you what happened here. At this point was the Battle of Glen Truel. The Battle of Glen Truel took place in 1307 during the First War of Scottish Independence. It was a significant conflict between Scottish forces led by James Douglas and English troops commanded by John MacDougall. The Scottish, under the leadership of Robert the Bruce, defeated the larger English army. This victory boosted Scottish morale and contributed to their eventual success in gaining independence from English rule. Here is the map that shows you where it happened. So this here was Robert the Bruce and his men, and then this is where the English army were. So there were 1,500 men in the English army and 300 men, and then they threw the rocks and boulders down the slopes here. Where Scotland won the Battle of Glen Truel, I will eat the Scottish millionaire shortbread. Oh no, that rat that was in the van last year's back, half of it's gone. This is so, so good. Okay, I think I've made it to the end of the loch here, so we're going to cross over and start heading back. There's actually not much daylight left now. I think the sun will set in like an hour, so I'm going to really ramp up the speed to get back to the camper van. Making good progress to get back. It's so lovely. It's so nice on the other side of the loch as well. This is what the path is like on the other side of the loch. So there's actually some off-grid accommodation at the end of this road, at the end of the loch, and then this is the road that leads to the accommodation, but it also seems to be the path as well. I've made it to Bruce's stone. So this here was unveiled on the 5th of June 1929, and this stone is for the Battle of Glen Truel, in remembrance of Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, whose victory in this glen over an English forge in March 1307. It opened the campaign of independence, which he brought to a decisive close at Bannockburn on the 24th of June 1314. So long ago. Wow. There it is, overlooking the loch. That is so impressive. There's actually a story that I've heard. I'm not sure if it's folklore or if it's actually true. So the story was that Robert the Bruce, at the time, he was sleeping in a cave or something, and he saw a spider trying to make a web. And it was really struggling, and it kept trying and trying and trying and trying. And then eventually the spider managed to make its web. And that gave Robert the Bruce the inspiration not to give up and to keep fighting for independence for Scotland. I made it back to my campervan, Ernie. That took me 1 hour and 9 minutes to walk all the way back. I did stop at Robert the Bruce Stone for maybe around 5 minutes, so I was walking very, very quickly on the way back. The total loop took me 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think if you walk very fast and power on, you could probably do the loop in 2 hours. If you walk at a leisurely pace, take photos, take some breaks, probably around 3 hours. But it's a beautiful, beautiful hike around that loch. So if you're in this area, definitely recommend doing that. In the van this evening, I'm planning to make such an exciting dinner. I can't wait to show you. This is one of my favourite meals to make in Scotland in the springtime. And then I'm going to be waking up very early tomorrow and taking you somewhere else very special. I'm going to start making some dinner, and tonight I'm going to be making wild garlic pesto pasta. So at the end of February, beginning of March, the wild garlic starts to appear in Scotland. You can pick it and you can make so many delicious different things with the wild garlic. Some of my favourite things to make are fermented wild garlic. I put that inside cheese toasties and it is so, so good. I also like to make wild garlic scones, and another one of my favourites is wild garlic pesto. So I made this the other day and I took some videos of it, so I'll show you some footage now of how I made it in case you want to make your own. And while you're watching that, I'm going to be pouring myself a little whiskey. I made my wild garlic pesto by mixing wild garlic, Parmesan cheese, walnuts, lemon juice and oil together in a food processor. Oh, it smells so delicious. Look at the colour of that. Some of you might be interested in the whiskey that I'm drinking. So actually this is the first full bottle of whiskey I've ever bought, and actually I'm quite disappointed that it's this one because this is a blended whiskey. It's not even a single malt. Actually, I have been interested to try this Monkey Shoulder blended whiskey since I went to the Glenfiddich distillery. So when I did the tour at the Glenfiddich distillery, inside the warehouse where you get to see all the different casks of whiskey, they had casks of Monkey Shoulder, and after I saw that I was always wanting to try Monkey Shoulder. After Christmas I saw this on sale in a shop and I just bought it. It was around £20, which I thought was quite a good price. So I've poured myself a little dram of the Monkey Shoulder. This will be maybe the first blend I'm trying. I mean, I've tried Johnny Walker and stuff before, but the first time since I've started enjoying whiskey that I'm trying a blend. Quite nice actually. Let's start cooking. Time to actually use the new water pump for the first time. Wonder if the right leg or the left leg is better. Quite slow to come out, but at least it's controlled. I feel like I'm milking a cow. Actually, I've never milked a cow, so I've no idea what that's actually like, but it does feel like that. Oh, I forgot this one was a bit to buy a new lighter. Oh my God, I just opened the door and oh my goodness. Outside is it's honestly unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like the stars are just phenomenal. I keep saying to myself I want to learn how to do astrophotography, and I don't think my camera is going to be able to do it justice. I might try and show you guys after what it's like, but wow, tonight is a lucky night. Okay. It says on the back 9 to 11 minutes. Okay. See you soon. Okay, the timer has gone. Let's check. Oh yeah. Okay, time to put in the pesto. This is looking really fantastic now, so I'm gonna put it on a plate. Okay everyone, what do you think of the wild garlic pesto pasta? The pasta is ready for eating. Let's give it a go. Oh, very good. That is delicioso. The wild garlic pesto is so good. Even on just like crackers or oatcakes, it's really delicious. If you have wild garlic near you, I recommend trying out that recipe because it's so delicious. Wild garlic is basically free from the forest, so I love everything about wild garlic. It tastes so good, but there is one downside, and that is it gives you really smelly breath. You don't want to be kissing anyone after eating this, or if you do, make sure they've eaten it as well. Good morning from the camper van. I slept really well last night and didn't even need the heater on overnight. It's starting to get a bit warmer now that spring is here. Before I take you to the next place I want to show you, I'm going to make some breakfast. In the shop the other day, I found these sourdough crumpets. So I've only had normal crumpets before, never sourdough ones. So these look really good. So I'm going to have some of these for my breakfast. And on top, I'm going to put some bramble jelly. So in the summer every year, like August, September time, brambles appear in Scotland. So bramble is the Scottish word for blackberry, and lots of people pick them and make delicious jam. This will be amazing with the crumpets. Here are the crumpets with the bramble jelly. These look so good. I've driven around 10 minutes from where I stayed last night and parked my van at the trailhead for the hill called the Merrick. And this is the tallest hill in southern Scotland, and I believe it's 848 metres. So some of you will be hearing that and laughing because it's actually quite a small hill in comparison to hills and mountains found in the rest of the world. But for southern Scotland, this is the tallest hill, and the views from the top are really magnificent. I've been up I think once or twice before, and if you get good weather you can sometimes see Ireland from the top, and the weather today does look very good. It's all blue skies at the moment, so fingers crossed it stays like that. Here is the trailhead, and then there is a signpost here saying the Merrick, 4 miles. There's a few places there for parking, and then there's more further along. And just opposite here is the stone that I visited yesterday, the Robert the Bruce stone, when I was walking around the loch. The trailhead is basically at the stone here. Although the Merrick is the highest hill in the southern uplands, it's not a Munro. A Munro is a hill over 3,000 feet, and there are 282 Munros in Scotland. The term Munro originates from Sir Hugh Munro, who compiled a list of such hills in 1891. Many hikers enjoyed the Munro bagging challenge. The Merrick is a corbett. Corbetts are hills between 2,500 and 3,000 feet, and there are 222 in Scotland. There's the Merrick behind me there. There is a cloud on the top of the hill, but hopefully by the time I get up there, the cloud has blown off and it's possible to get all the amazing views. I will find out what the elevation is at the starting point for this hike, because I always find that it doesn't really matter the height of the mountain, it's more about the elevation gain, because if this is, I think 848 metres I said, you know, if we start at 500 metres, it's only a 300 metre or something hike, but if you start at like sea level and you hike a hill that's 1,900 metres, the elevation gain is so much more. So I always find that that's an important factor when you do a hike, rather than the actual height of the mountain itself. So I've made it up that slog there, and it's really, really windy up here, but I'm starting to see more views. I can't see the sea yet. I think it's a little bit foggy for that. Behind me, it's starting to get a bit steeper, and then it looks like we're going to be heading up onto the ridge and then onto the top of the hill. I hope I can see something at the top of the hill, because it does look a bit cloudy up there still. Okay, I've made it to the top of the first hill here, and then behind me is the Merrick, so there's still quite a bit there to hike up along that ridge. I am so hungry, so I've come in here behind the dike and I'm going to have something to eat before I power on and make it to the top. Oh, it's really cold up here. There's actually some snow just here beside the wall as well. I've got some hummus and oatcakes. These oatcakes look really good. As I started to hike along the ridge section, the wind became very strong and I felt like I was almost going to be blown away. I spent around 45 minutes hiking along the ridge before reaching the top of the highest hill in southern Scotland. Weather conditions on the Merrick can change rapidly, so if you do plan to do this hike, it's essential to check the forecast and be prepared for changing weather. I recommend having proper hiking gear, including waterproof clothing and sturdy footwear. I finally made it to the top of the Merrick and the views here are insane, but it is so windy. It's unbelievably windy and I don't think I can fly the drone. I really want to show you the views from above, but I've taken some videos, so hopefully that will do it justice. This might be one of the windiest days I've experienced in Scotland. It's comparable to Shetland, which is very windy, and also the time I went to the Mull of Kintyre lighthouse. It was extremely windy there as well. I've only met like 2 other hikers the whole day. It's very quiet today, even though the weather is very nice. It was insanely windy on the top of the hill and I've made it pretty much all the way back down to the car park, and look what I found! Some mountain goats. There you are, hello! Made it back to Ernie, finally. I am exhausted. See you next time for the next adventure.